What's going on YouTube? We're ready for another part of the BT14 featured tournament. Today I'm going to be commenting for Jesmon.
Hey, and this is Ethan. I'm going to be commenting for Four Great Dragons.
And let's get right into it. So, we finally reached the winners' grand finals. Four Great Dragons versus Jesmon. Definitely not what I expected to happen.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, so, after, Jesmon made quick work of D-Brigade, I'm really interested to see, how it might perform in this. There is a lot that Jesmon can do, but I'm worried that Venusmon is going to be a problem for it.
Yeah, and I feel like Jesmon has really been kind of the dark horse deck of this tournament. You know, I didn't really think having the Savior back would make that much of a difference, but it definitely opens up some pretty dangerous plays. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, well, when you open the nuts, you open the nuts. That's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah, no rookie. Oh wait, no, he has one rookie, right?
Yeah, but he's choosing to keep it so that he can play it, since that's a very good searching card. And
that makes sense.
Yeah, now he's debating between Savior and the other rookie, which they're both very good to get, so I can understand the dilemma. He does go for the rookie, he just needs that guaranteed draw, which I understand, honestly. And unfortunately, you did not get a rookie either, so we got both sides kind of starting, without a level 3.
Yep. Thankfully, I did manage to hit the Angelwoman. Gatomon is definitely a completely unreliable searcher, but setting up the level 5 play off of it is actually not too bad at this point.
Right. So we just play the BT6 Huckmon. It's actually an excellent searcher. It checks 5 cards and basically picks any 2 things of the line. The only thing it can't pick up are Royal Knights, so it misses the Omnimon, and it'll also miss the Gonkumons if you're playing those, but it's still an excellent searcher, especially for this variant of the deck.
Yeah, for being a BT6 card, it's actually pretty amazing how ahead of its time it was as far as searchers go.
Yeah, and even back then, they understood the problem with Jesmon was that you need a lot of kind of bricky pieces, mainly the Sistramon. Yeah, and you're just gonna make the Angelmon, play the trial, drain it.
Yeah, still no level 3 at the start of that turn, but thankfully I drew into one off of the Angelmon Digivolve.
Right. Does Jesmon... Okay, Jesmon just got his 4, so that's good, because he now actually has most of the pieces he needs now. He just needs to, build a stack. Yeah, he could play the Huckmon to pass you to 1, but I think he's about to go into his 4 just so that his stack is ready, and I think that's the correct thing to do. I think that once you have your pieces with Jesmon, you just, you start building.
Yep, there it is, into the Bauhuck.
And a lot of people don't know this, but you can actually stack those from Master to Disciple, you can stack the delay option, unlike how training works. So you can have both of them reduce your next evolution by 1 each. Yeah, he just gets a sister. Really, since he can play the citrus from the trash, it doesn't really matter the one he adds to hand most of the time.
So I do have Messenger of Hope here in hand, but I don't have a TK set up, which means that it'll actually minus my security if I play it.
Right.
And I haven't even gotten a chance to peek at security this game either, so I have don't really know what's in there, so not going to risk it and just going to go for the training. Thankfully picking up a TK there, which means I can set that up to basically have controlled security from this point forward.
Yep.
And here I go ahead and play the Magnadramon to throw down a Sec Attack -2 blanket onto the field, just because with him being at level 4 and raising and having the setup on the board, I was worried that he would come out next turn and start chewing through my security.
Yeah, and he definitely would have. Now, what's about to happen here is, in my opinion, a missed opportunity from Jesmon's side. I'm gonna wait until the 4 Great Dragons ends their turn, and then I'll kind of explain what could have happened here. Yeah, it's pretty involved, but basically what it amounts to is that at 3 memory and 2 from Master to Disciple, and then with both the BT13 inherits, he definitely had enough memory to go up to that Jesmon X in his hand so that he could attack through Angelmon, unsuspend with Savior inherit, and then attack through the Magadramon. Although the Magadramon would have died anyway. But like, he would not have gotten any security checks, but he would have flooded the board, and he would have cleared the Angelmon. So like, I definitely think that would have been the correct play. Because if he waits another turn, you're just gonna make Venusmon, and then he'll never get to use his Digivolve effects ever again. But he ultimately, I don't know if he did not think that he could actually keep turn. He definitely could have, because he had enough memory inherits, and he had both the Master Disciple, but instead he just plays a Huckmon to pass at 1. And unfortunately, that's kind of going to seal his fate, because, okay, you don't have the Venus yet, but I know that you're about to get it.
Yeah, I guess he just wasn't wanting to move out and try to do the checks. Well, since he couldn't do the checks, so yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, like he couldn't have done the checks.
Yeah, like you said, he could have board cleared if he had done that. Probably a little bit of a risky proposition there anyway, but yeah, we'll see what happens here.
I do think that's a better alternative than like leaving yourself open to being hard punished by Venusmon, which is like, that's like what your deck is always trying to do. And if you're just like playing too passively, like they're just gonna catch you off guard and they're gonna Venusmon you, and then you just can't ever do anything.
Yep.
Like, you kind of need to like play very aggressively. You need to like get up your stack as quickly as you can, because 4 Great Dragons actually doesn't have very good removal. Like, they have Venusmon, and they can like rush attack over things, but they don't have like, at least this build of it. It doesn't play the Magidramon, which can delete things on play. Like, and I don't think you're playing Ruin Mode either, are you?
I'm actually not. I was struggling to find space for it. So yeah, I have almost no removal. Like, Andromon can minus 3k. If you're lucky, maybe you can get 2 and minus 6, but you can't really remove after that.
Right.
Now, I will say, in this specific scenario, it would not have mattered if he got rid of the Angelwoman, because with Messenger of Hope and Training, I would have been able to go on to a Venusmon on top of that Vidramon regardless. So I would have still been able to get back in into the Venusmon that turn, but at least I would have only had 1 stack as opposed to now I actually, I'm working on a second.
Yes, but the big thing for me is that he actually would have flooded the board still. Like, he
Yeah.
would have actually like have gotten to get his Digivolve effects to go off. Like, he still would have been at the mercy of like Magnadramon and Venusmon Sick Attack looping, but if he had just like gone and like made his big board, he could have at least set himself up in such a way that as soon as he got a free turn, it was just over, you know?
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense.
But now he's never gonna get his Digivolve effects now. So now he's just behind in like the memory economy. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that it would have made more economic sense to spend his memory the previous turn to get all the cards in the field. And then he wouldn't have to like worry as much about the Venusmon, because he at least would have like a lot of bodies to just swing as soon as he got the chance.
Yep, I agree. At least it would have put him in a position to potentially, do something.
Yeah, like he would have actually had pressure on you to force you to like keep on Sec Attack minusing his field.
Right, exactly. And I feel like at this point, if I recall correctly from the from memory, I'm pretty sure it's just kind of a slow beat down from this point forward.
Yeah, this is actually like a situation that kind of shows where GX and Gonku X would have been helpful, because GX is just a big blocker. Like, I don't think you have a single card in your deck that can beat over GX.
Yeah. As far as I'm aware, that's correct. Without running Ruin Mode, I basically can't get past it. Because that like you said, is one big weakness of the of this version of it. He has no GX, and as far as I'm aware, I don't even believe he's running the blocker, the Sistermon that gives blocker.
He's not.
So, he has like absolutely no defense.
Yeah.
Here I went into Venusmon and choked him to 1, which is going to mean the game's going to take an additional turn. I should have actually probably played a level 3 from hand, even though that meant I would have been giving him more memory, just because I knew he didn't really have the ability to do anything here. And then if I had done that, then I could have swung for game on this following turn. Right. Whereas in this scenario, I think I end up having to kind of go an entire another turn. It does get a bit of a good chance to demonstrate the power of kind of just this Patamon engine, because you can see earlier in this game I prepped that Venusmon in security off of something, which lets me do basically that same Patamon into Venusmon play that I did earlier in the game. And being able to just set that up repeatedly is actually pretty busted. And the more stacks you have set up with that, the better. Because you can see, like right there, I went up for free. I now have 2 Patamon inherits, so I'm gaining 2 memory from that. I have two TKs, so I'm gaining 2 memory from the TK. So that's like 4 memory right there, and going up a stage for free. And then on top of that, I got 2 Tokomon draws, and then I got to trigger the Venusmon when digivolving. So that was all done at the start of the main phase for free, which is, just a lot of value. When you can maintain stacks on board with this deck, it just starts becoming kind of ridiculous what you can do.
Yeah, you can see a lot of that with Seraphimon too. Unfortunately, you didn't get to see it against this particular deck. And yeah, you're just sitting here trying to figure out like what all you can do, because like you want to kill, but you can't kill this turn yet.
Yep, and I'm pretty sure if I think since I have 2 Venusmon, I'm pretty sure I just swing 1. Yeah, I get a check in, which it does actually die, but again, I have the backup Venusmon, so it actually doesn't matter. And then I just hard slam the Megadramon here. I'm setting in, or sorry, Magnadramon. I'm setting into 7 with that play, but I'm applying that Sec Attack -1 blanket again, which means that he can't kill me next turn, and he also can't activate his Wind Digivolving, which effects, which means he really can't do anything with this version of Jesmon, because the only thing he can do is he can get his on plays basically, which means he can do his Sistermons, and he can do like his searchers and stuff like that, but that's it. He can't get his Wind Digivolving effects, so he can't gain like the ability to attack unsuspended bodies, so he can't even beat over anything on my field. He obviously can't check my security, so he's kind of just in a tough spot here. He can't even get like win attacking effects, because I know at first he was like, oh, I'll swing with the Bauhawk to delete your Venusmon, and then I was like, oh, well, you won't be able to do that. And he's like, oh, damn, that's right. So yeah, he's kind of just in a bad spot here, and you can see he's trying to looking for like what can he do. I think at this point it was kind of just messing around a bit, so he's like, I'll just play this and I'll go up a tier for free and then nothing will happen. So yeah, we were joking about, I gotta get that cycle. Anyway, or not for free, so he still goes up for the play cost, but Digivolve cost. Yeah. While we're sitting here waiting for this, one other thing I did want to mention, this actually happened a few turns ago, but I wanted to call it out, which is that in this more kind of aggro, OTK-oriented variant of the deck, one cool thing that you do have is, you need Omni for the finisher, but unlike in a lot of decks where Omni is, you just have to draw into it, in this deck, the from master to disciple, that option can actually pick up. Yeah, exactly. Can pick up any Royal Knight, and lo and behold, Omnimon is a Royal Knight. So, in a scenario where you're not under Venus lock, you actually can go into Omnimon that way.
Yeah, and the Sistermon CL can search it too, so they actually have 2 ways to get it.
Yeah, at this point he's down to 2 security, so
yeah, so I'm just sitting here being like, hurry up and attack. Like, what are you waiting for?
Yeah, I don't remember. I think we were maybe just kind of joking around and talking at this point,
Okay.
because I think we were talking about how like even the Blitz Omni's effects can't trigger since they're wind digivolving.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't really remember what I was doing here. Why I didn't just swing.
I don't remember why I didn't just cut this.
Oh, I remember. We were talking about because Peter was like, I want to see the Goldramon, and so I was trying to figure out if there was a way for me to get into the Goldramon for game, and then I think I determined that there wasn't really a way to do that. I think that's what I was trying to do here. I was trying to see if I could get Goldramon for game, but obviously that wasn't going to happen.
Okay, yeah, I didn't realize that Peter was like kind of participating in the recording.
Yeah, he was on the audio as well. So yeah, that's what I was trying to do, and then I'm like, oh well, never mind, that's not going to happen. So I just swung, and I think we were also, I'm pretty sure Albert was also talking about, maybe Albert and Peter were talking about, like, man, it's pretty crazy how once you get the TKs set up, how much memory you're getting every turn, and then I think that's why I played the other TK to kind of just point out the fact that, it's a 4 cost memory tamer, but with those 2 Patamon inherits and the 2 BT14 TKs, it literally refunds itself immediately. So yeah, just kind of messing around a little bit there on those last couple turns, but you can see once I got into the Venusmon and was able to maintain the lock, there really wasn't anything he could do. That being said, if I ever dropped the lock, then he would have just killed me immediately. So the fact that, that was that one turn where I had to just hard drop the Magnetramon since I didn't have a trial set up, and I think that's really where sometimes the 4 Great Dragons deck can start to falter, is if you drop the lock at any point, then the opponent is going to just completely tear through your security because they will have been sitting there setting up for however many turns.
Yeah. I wonder why the editor didn't cut this. Like, what happened? What? like, but,
You wonder why the what, sorry?
I was being sarcastic. I wonder why the editor didn't cut all that waiting until we got to this point. But anyway, so... But yeah, if you're playing against 4 Great Dragons, I guess this is advice for, anybody, you really gotta aggro them as soon as possible. Because once you're under the Venus lock, then it's going to be way, way harder to kill them after you're finally released from it.
Yep, and the other thing worth mentioning in that regard too is 4 Great Dragons need security to operate. This is true for Seraphimon as well, but Seraphi actually has recovery, so they can kind of recover from a scenario of having low security. By the way, this opening hand on the 4 Great Dragon side is absolutely amazing. Because I basically have everything I need except Venus. In hand, Venus and Magnetramon. So yeah, I just have I have a great line here. I don't remember if I have a Vidra in security or not, but having the Vidra in hand so that I can go up for 2 if I do miss it in security on the Patamon is really nice as well. So, but yeah, back to the previous point. Yeah, if you can tear through security against 4 Great Dragons, they can apply some second attack minus blankets that maybe will keep you from finishing the game. But if you don't have anything to do, yeah, and see, I actually didn't have a 4 in security there, so I ended up having to use the 1 in hand, which isn't so bad in this scenario since I at least did have something to go up with.
But yeah, like you're going to say, if you reduce their security, then the Patamon and the Messenger of Hope don't work as well. And because you don't really have much recovery, you can't really recover from that.
Yeah, exactly. I picked up an Aero Vidramon and a Magnetramon there. I'm pretty sure the reason I did that was I think I had a Trial of the 4 Great Dragons in security. But I think that was probably a miscue on my part. I think it would have been smarter to pick up Magnetramon and Trial, even though that would have given me a second one, since I already had a Angel Woman in hand to go up into a 5. Yeah, I feel like that was probably not the correct decision. I don't think there's any negative drawback from that in this particular game, but just kind of as a
as a general note,
as a general rule, because the more trials you can loop. I mean, I already had 2 in hand. Maybe that's why I didn't pick it, but the more trials you can loop, the better. So yeah, that's the harder card to pick up than just any 5. because both of the 5s effectively accomplish the same thing. They both place a trial in your battle area if you don't have one. The main difference is that Venusmon becomes a blocker, whereas Angela does minus 3k on something.
Yep.
I definitely find the Angela a lot better, personally, at least from the games I've played so far, just because the deck has so little removal. Having some way of gaining removal is important.
Right.
But yeah, here I could have gone into the Venusmon, but the reason I went into the Magnadramon instead was because he had nothing in raising.
Yeah.
So I knew that there was no chance of him coming out next turn, so I decided to save my Venusmon for a later turn, because going into Venusmon right there would have caused me to immediately pass. So I decided to just set up the Magnadramon instead, so I can get a check and then set up another trial after it gets deleted at the end of his turn.
Makes sense. Yeah, and this is the point where we're just like, all right, we're just sitting here waiting for 4K Dragons to win. I kind of wish I
Yeah, exactly.
Like I honestly could have just fast forwarded here, because it literally is just like, all right, pass turn, go ahead, and then you just like do like these like little pokes, make Venus, and then we pass turn again. You do your little pokes, make Venus and Magnadramon. Like that's just how it goes.
Yep, exactly. Trial is actually a pretty slow deck, just because it takes a lot of turns to actually finish the game. But I don't know. In a way, it's kind of like a boa constrictor. I guess it basically just sits there and slowly chokes the life out of the opponent, because it does, like basically what we're kind of saying here is at this point I've actually already won this game, but it's going to take me several more turns to actually finish it.
Yep.
So yeah, we're going to be sitting here for a while. Now your opponent still has to play because, I mean, I guess they could just rage quit. But if they want to potentially win, they have to kind of just wait around and see, are you going to fail to maintain the lock for any reason?
Yeah.
And if that happens, then they can just kind of win for free at that point. But if that doesn't happen, then they kind of just sit there not being able to do anything, depending on what the capabilities of their deck are.
Yeah.
Obviously, decks that have strong on-play effects don't really have to worry about this deck as much, because of course they can apply the Suck Attack Blanket to prevent you from finishing game, but the Venusmon cannot lock you out of on-plays, so that's another a good thing to be aware of.
Yeah, that's true. So like Royal Knight can be a decent matchup against this.
Yeah, Royal Knights I feel like would be an auto loss.
Yeah.
Just because you're so slow, they would just set up all day, and then eventually they would just win. So yeah, I feel like Royal Knights would be a pretty terrible matchup. Another thing that's worth mentioning, with a bunch of ace cards coming out, and we saw this a little bit in the blue hybrid matchup that I had to play in the first round, is that Venusmon only blocks wind digivolving effects on the opponent's turn.
Oh,
So if I swing and the opponent uses an ace card, then they actually still get that effect on my turn, because the Venusmon will not stop it. So that's something good to be aware of, because some of the aces, such as Zudamon or like Metal Garurumon ace, can actually be pretty relevant cards to go into, particularly if if you catch somebody sleeping and they end up passing turn before they've actually established the lock again with something like Metal Garurumon ace, that's a pretty good opportunity.
Yep.
So Goldramon died there at the end. The way he works is on deletion. If you have any of those tokens that he spawns left on the field, he deletes all of those, and then if any of them were deleted, then you recover one as well. So that's why I actually went up to 6. So that's a pretty cool thing you can do with the trial. Also worth mentioning that happens if he would digivolve as well.
Yes.
So that's a good reason to run Ruin mode in this deck, because you spawn the 2 tokens, you swing the rush token, and then if you go into Ruin mode, it'll delete the blocker token, and you'll recover one. So that's another pretty cool play that you can do.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that you don't need to delete both tokens. You just need to have like at least one of them still on the field.
Exactly. main caveat worth mentioning there is that Trial prevents the Digimon that it plays from digivolving. So you can't digivolve it into a 7. So you would have to have gone up the stack normally in order to go into Ruin mode. But it's still a pretty strong play that you can do. This deck obviously has a lot of time to sit around, so being able to go into a Ruin mode just to kind of go somewhere else with your stacks that you've established seems like a pretty strong option to have. I'm not running it in this particular build, but I feel like it would be, a good card to run. Just to kind of be able to go somewhere else and apply a different kind of lockdown on your opponent.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, he goes into the Blitz Omni there, just for fun, and then of course I have enough aggro on the board at this point to swing for game. And I think this was actually, I said it last game, but I think this was actually the game where I was trying to figure out if it would be possible for me to end on Goldramon, but
Yeah, you can.
yeah, but I checked security, had nowhere to go, so I was like, okay, well, we're just gonna go ahead and just finish it out.
Honestly, I would have slapped you if you actually went and resolved the Patamon right when you just had game on board.
just to mess around.
Yeah.
Hey, I had the Goldramon in hand. If I needed a 4. If I had a 4 in security, I think I could have done it. But I didn't, so there you go. But yeah, so 4 Great Dragons. Moving on to the Grand Finals. Jesmon will have another chance in the Losers Finals playing whoever ends up there. There's quite a lot more matches to go through to get there, so should be exciting to see how that goes. I definitely did not expect to be sitting here on the winners final side, or in the grand finals on the winners side, but when the deck gets its lines fast, it's pretty crazy. So Venusmon's a crazy card.
Yeah, and also that Patamon, very powerful card.
Yes, Patamon and TK are so good. Those two cards together are just amazing.
Yep. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the video. We'll be back soon, starting the losers bracket. We'll see who gets to face off with 4 Great Dragons in the finals soon.
Thanks for watching.